She will never remember this. It was 2009, and I had been repeating that mantra manically over the previous week. Every time I dropped off my baby daughter at daycare, every time I picked her up at day's end, already asleep. I repeated my mantra as I carted my daughter, along with her two older brothers, to and from the suburban daycare, where they spent their days, while I took the train every day into Manhattan to my corporate law gig. At night, my boys would wrap around me, spilling over with the details of their long day without me. They were 5 and 3 at the time, and they would remember. Somehow I knew that. But back then, I had a different hope for my 15-month-old daughter. Someone else has been with her all day. Someone else has fed her and put on the cozy pajamas I left in her daycare bag, properly laundered and labeled. But she will not remember, I consoled myself. I moved through all those familiar routines that week in 2009 for the last time because I had decided to take a leave of absence from my 60-hour work week. Believe it or not, that was actually a part-time schedule, one that I had carved out and allowed me to continue practicing law alongside motherhood. And it worked for a long time, until it didn't. I paced the plush carpets of my Times Square office building on that last day. I stood at my window dictating the final edits of a legal brief and working out the excruciating details of one last settlement agreement. I stared out at the Empire State Building across town, and I wondered how much I would miss it all. And it was at that moment I realized with a jolt, she'll never remember this. My boys had been in that Times Square office on countless occasions, and all these years later, they still remember. But not my daughter, not a moment of it. All I had ever wanted to be was a successful lawyer. And on that last day, as a practicing lawyer, it was a bittersweet realization that my daughter would never remember the days of me working so hard, putting on my navy blue trial suit, and heading off into the world to achieve my long sought-after goal. Of course, as any parent knows who has ever left a career behind, I didn't trade in that life for a life of ease. In fact, I was annoyed to learn that I had left behind a life with concrete measures of success for a life with not one measurable marker of success. I traded one set of guilts for another. Rather than the old guilt that I wasn't home more, I now felt guilty that I didn't do more with the time I was home. I learned that as the one who was physically in the house more often, I was expected to do more of the homemaking duties. But my family quickly learned that I did not make a very good homemaker. I let the laundry pile up while I planned day trips instead. I grabbed takeout when the day has gotten away from us. I can always find the shirt, the socks, or whatever anyone's looking for at any given time, but it is usually in a place that only I know about. The boys have taught my daughter. Mommy used to be a lawyer, but she quit to be home with us. Being home means we always have plenty of bacon on snow days. We can jelly from hand-picked grapes picked from the backyard every summer. I volunteer at the kids' school. I let them catch turtles and caterpillars and even snakes and keep them as temporary pets. Being home more means I let them get a dog. But being home also puts my mothering under an unforgiving microscope I do not remember from my lawyer mom days. I actually used to be a pretty good lawyer. And some days I wonder if I might just have been a better lawyer than a mom. Like when we are stopped at a red light and I am yelling in anger at the boys who are wrestling and fighting in the back seat, only to turn and see the driver next to me staring in horror. Ditto when no one will eat the dinner I put in front of them and I dump it in the garbage half eaten and concede, just pour yourselves a big bowl of sugar cereal, what do I care? And the truth is, while I'm home with the kids a lot, I didn't quit working. I just work differently now. Alongside mothering full-time, I do pro bono work and other volunteer work. For several years, I helped run a startup company whose mission was empowering women entrepreneurs. I reconnected with my first love, writing, and I've forged an emerging writing career. There are new dreams for this leg of the journey, and this time, my kids, including my daughter, have a front row seat as they watch me struggle and fail and succeed. I include them in every decision, but there are times they hug me goodbye as I run out the door for book clubs or writing retreats for board meetings. My schedule is not easier or less busy because I left my law career. There are times I'm distracted by my computer and deadlines and housework that seems endless. But here's the thing. I am no longer wishing nor worrying that my daughter will never remember this time of our lives. My daughter repeats after her brothers, "Mommy used to be a lawyer, but she quit to be home with us." And as I tucked my daughter in on the eve of her 8th birthday this year, I whispered, "No, I didn't leave my law career to be home with you and your brothers. Instead, I left to be a great many places, but in all of those places, to be for you." And I pray that this is what she will remember.